Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Presley, and in this video today, I want to give you my full review for Daredevil Yellow. Now, this is a book that came out in 2002 with artwork by Tim Sale and written by Jeff Loeb. This is basically like an origin storytelling of Daredevil. It also tells us why he got his red suit, and I really enjoyed this book. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is Tim Sale's gorgeous artwork. He uses ink wash throughout here, and I knew that because in the intro of this book, Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale actually talk about it. But yes, the ink wash throughout this book is gorgeous. It makes the world feel very gray, very dreary, and it sets a beautiful tone and atmosphere for this book. I love it. I'm going to put some panels on screen now while I talk about the artwork, but it's gorgeous. Not only is Tim Sale's character design for Daredevil and the rest of the characters great, but I love the world. It feels super rainy, dark, and especially when some things in the story happen, that sense of dreariness really helps amplify the story's mood and the emotion through it. Thought it was fantastic. There's something so pleasant and optimistic about Tim Sale's artwork. All of his characters feel super lifelike. They feel very friendly with one another. I love the interactions between them, especially how he draws Matt Murdock and Foggy and Karen Page. I think there's something very sweet about his artwork, and the emotion that Jeff Loeb injects into the story really breaks your heart when you see these characters like going through these negative things. It is a fantastic time, and that artwork just amps up the emotion a ton. Now, I really dug the story in this book. This book is structured as basically letters that Matt Murdock is writing to Karen Page after she has already passed away. And he uses this story to kind of tell his origin, but also to find closure in the grief that he's been dealing with Karen Page. So all these letters and all these things that he wanted to tell her throughout their life that he never could, he's now getting out onto paper. I think that's a fantastic way to write a story, because we're feeling the grief that Matt Murdock is also feeling with the death of the love of his life. I think it's a fantastic structure, and I really think it fits the story super well. The actual plot and events that take place during this book really just tell the origin of Daredevil, about how his father, who was this boxer, rigging fights to win, eventually like runs into the wrong people. He gets hurt, he gets killed, and Matt Murdock, who has secretly been training in private, goes to try to avenge his father, find his father's killers and things like that. He dons the Daredevil suit kind of as an homage to his father. Fantastic stuff throughout here. We learn towards the end of this book why he decided to go from yellow and red to just the full red, and I don't want to spoil exactly what that reason is, but I think it's a beautiful emotional reason why he changed his costume, and it's really impactful. Overall, I love the story throughout here. It was gripping throughout because we're kind of flashing back between different time periods. We're seeing what happened with his father's killers and the vengeance that he's trying to seek out, but we're also seeing the origin of Foggy Nelson and Matt Murdock's like law firm. Super fun how they introduced Karen Page throughout the story and how they met her, kind of the whole love triangle going on, because Foggy Nelson and Matt Murdock are both in love with her, but she's kind of in love with Daredevil. It's a whole little hullabaloo of things going on, but it was amazing. The payoff throughout this book is beautiful. I love the character development. It's not too long. I believe it's either 5 or 6 issues, so nothing too long throughout here. The book itself wraps up really nicely. There's some beautiful emotional moments towards the very end, not only with the revelations about what happened with Matt Murdock and Karen Page, but also about how Matt Murdock was able to get his father's like revenge. I don't want to say revenge, but like justice for his father, and also honoring him by opening the gym that he used to train at again. Beautiful work throughout here. I dug the story. It was super emotional, and by the end, very heartfelt. Almost cried a little bit because Jeff Loeb just does a great job of creating that emotion that was beautiful throughout. So overall, the combination of Daredevil and his origin story, why he decided to get the red suit, his love letters to Karen Page after her passing, him and Matt Murdock and Foggy Nelson's like adventures throughout the early stages of their career as lawyers, all of this paired with Tim Sale's gorgeous artwork, his beautiful character design for Daredevil and for all of the side cast of characters, leads me to give this book a 5 stars out of 5. I thought it was beautiful. I blew through it super quickly because it really is a page turner, super fun. And yes, let me know in the comments down below if you have read Daredevil Yellow already. If you have, what were your thoughts? What were your opinions? And most importantly, what was your rating? Again, I had to give it a 5 stars out of 5. Gorgeous, perfect. If you haven't read it, this is a beautiful place to start for Daredevil, because it is a little bit of an origin story, but it also has some very emotional moments in it. With that being said, thank you so very much for watching. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you later.